All right, so I want to do a quick little kind of update video. This is in regards to I don't do these update videos very often, but this is kind of still an ongoing story. Usually I try and wait for all the information to get put out there and for, everything to kind of, dust clears and settles and everything. But there was a very good thing to talk about when it came to voiceover or voice actors in the industry, in the gaming industry, and really the gaming industry overall. So that's the reason why I wanted to make that first video. So this is an update to the video about the Let's Talk video about Helena Taylor and Bayonetta 3, as you can see over here. So let's jump into the newest information on the situation when it comes down to Bayonetta 3 and everything that it entails. So Jason Schreier's been like doing a stand-up job, just bringing in information from documents, and like I said in the original video, he knows so many people in the industry, and he gets a lot of good information, a lot more so than something like a Nibble or or Nibel or however you say their name. Like a lot of the leakers and all that stuff, Jason really seems to get a lot of the major inside information. Anyway, so the update to that was Bayonetta's former voice actor called for fans to boycott the new game, which that's what the original Let's Talk was all about, saying she was offered just $4,000 overall to work on it. Her Twitter videos went viral, stuck to debate over voice actor wages. Full story is much more complicated. So this is what we're talking about majorly here. So Platinum offered Helena Taylor between 3 to 4 per session, $3,000 to $4,000 per session for at least 5 sessions. According to two people familiar with the deal and documents viewed by Bloomberg in response. Now, I don't fully trust Bloomberg in their reporting. I've seen them screw up in reporting before, but I would trust Jason over top of Bloomberg overall. In response, the people said Taylor asked for a 6-figure fee in residuals. Negotiations fell apart. Taylor denies this account. In an email to Bloomberg, she called that version of events as an absolute lie. Said Platinum is trying to save their ass in the game. Taylor's video have received more than 9.5 million views on Twitter, led to a deluge of calls from fans and pundits to boycott Bayonetta 3. And put this into perspective, 9.5 million on the Twitter video. It is drama. It is, that kind of video thing of like, oh my God, what is happening with this and what's up with the voice actress and everything. The original trailer for Bayonetta 3, for Nintendo's trailer for Bayonetta 3 only got 3 million views. So it's like almost 3 times the amount. But accounts and evidence reviewed by Bloomberg made it clear that those videos were not the whole story. And that's what I kind of said in the original video too. I'm like, well, I think we still need more information on this whole thing to give a complete story of exactly what was happening. But at the same time, she seemed like she was both really pissed and nervous at the same time, which, it's partly, I was just thinking it was because NDA, she was breaking that. So it really blacklists her from the industry. So Taylor's video also led to a barrage of Twitter vitriol and harassment towards Platinum developers and new Bayonetta actor or actress, I would say actress, Jennifer Hale, who put out a statement saying she cannot comment. Yeah. So Jennifer Hale has been getting all kinds of a storm coming at her from social media platforms, which she's been handling like a champ. This was a tweet on the whole thing in regards to Bayonetta 3. As a longtime member of the voice acting community, I support every actor's right to be paid well and have advocated consistently on this for years, which is true. That's actually one of the things. Whenever we've seen like Mass Effect sit downs and such, Jennifer Hale and also Marvel Avengers, like she was saying a lot of that too. Of like, everybody should be getting paid, for as much work as they're putting into this. People should really be getting paid fully for that work. So I am underneath an NDA, not at liberty to speak regarding the situation. My reputation speaks for itself. Of course, everybody's underneath NDA. It's the gaming industry. You can't, you can't really say much of anything about anything because NDAs are just like the thing that they throw around like candy, and the gaming industry does that in part to keep the mystery of the game reveal and what's going on with it, but also the behind the scenes. So the publishers have basically all to say so, and they keep a lot of power over the top of everyone working on the game in that aspect of everybody being underneath the NDA. So it's a double-edged sword. In one way, it's great for us fans, and another way, it's like, oh, yeah, but what's going on with? I still say there should be more transparency between all the developers working on games, and because NDAs, they last for like 10 years, so there's a lot of times where if something happens, like all the stories of something like an Anthem or a Cyberpunk or whatever the case may be, any games that have controversy or drama surrounding them, you don't really get to hear the full lengths of everything that was going on, or something like like Kojima leaving Konami and all the Metal Gear controversy and everything. You never get the full story until years later. So yeah, I did want to keep this video kind of short just so I can get it all done and cleared up and out of the way. So it's unlikely that the full story will get as much traction or as the original Twitter videos. Yeah, this is the social media age, which is very true. So Jane Perry is the yes, she is the actress that plays Celine in Returnal. Jason, 4,000 per session just doesn't sound right to me. I've been in this industry a long time. I'll be here in the UK. Platinum offering to hire a jobbing voice actor for $1,000 an hour. It just doesn't happen unless you're a big star. All quite suspect in my opinion. So what she's saying by big star is something like maybe like Keanu Reeves or Daisy Ridley. She just did that the time the time rewind game there, and those are even for that game being a more or less indie project, it was still a big paycheck to get to bring in William Dafoe and oh boy, what is his name? James McAfee? Is that what his name is? Anyways, to bring in those 3 stars, that's like half your budget, because it's, them being an indie studio, but also them, it's like Cyberpunk bringing in, this is the reason why I say studios got to be very careful bringing in big celebrities because they cost so much to bring in that it eats up a lot of the budget for the, the big names to come in and do something. And that's one of the things where if somebody is known, if it's like a Troy Baker, a Nolan North, a Jennifer Hale, a Laura Bailey, you name it, like those big names in the industry, they set their wages to correspond with the gaming industry. It's not like Hollywood amount of a paycheck. It's like the gaming industry amount of a paycheck. So there's a big difference there. Loved your work in Returnal. Before I ran the article, I spoke to another voice actor, and they said it'd be surprising to see an unknown VO get 2x rate. This was four times, yeah. But for the third entry in the series, you'd have a lot to leverage to bury, yeah. And that was one of those things where I'm like, well, if her management is doing a good enough job with managing the contract, she could maybe ask for that. But they were also saying like she was asking for like 6 figures, which is 100, 200,000, whatever it is, over the 100,000 mark, 6 figures. That just doesn't happen. Not for voice acting. Clearing up misconception as an actor, 4,000 for 4 hours doesn't actually translate to 1,000 an hour, considering taxes, agent fees. Yep. And this is a big one that you got to keep in consideration. If she asked for 6 figures from a company like Nintendo, it's not like Nintendo just doesn't do that. They don't pay I mean, Nintendo it has their own dramas, going on themselves with them, not allowing people to run tournaments and them being very weird with their funding also with projects and everything. Um, yeah, it's weird that basically I think the whole thing of all of this, to go back to the original, we'll bring it back over to here. What I think really, really happened with all this is Helena Taylor wanted way more money than she would ever get. She tried to bargain high to get a big paycheck because she's doing so poorly or bad off or whatever from what she's saying in her videos. Who knows her situation? And they were like, no way, we're not doing that. That's way too high. Then there was negotiations that went back and forth. Maybe there was some because she's English speaker and she has to translate all the negotiations into Japanese. Maybe there was some translation issues that happened there with she thought it was 4,000 overall and they were going to give her $4,000 for per session because it is the third game in the series to round out a trilogy of Bayonetta. But right now it's looking like maybe Helena there was a translation error that happened somewhere in there, and she kind of overblew it a little bit, and telling the fans to boycott and everything else. To go back to Jennifer Hale's stuff, there is a giant team that works on. That's one of the things that Jennifer Hale said was, it's a full on team that works on the game, not just I don't know exactly where that post was, but it was like a couple days ago. She said, just remember, it's a full on team. It's a full on development team. It's something that I said also, that this is one person saying grievances where there is an entire development team that's working on it, and maybe there was some miscommunication that happened between everybody. But I think I have a lot better feeling about Bayonetta 3 going into that people aren't getting so badly screwed over. There is definitely still, overall the gaming industry, there is definitely some work to be done when it comes to getting people paid for their work, between artists and sound teams and voiceovers and the whole 9 yards of it. There's a lot of screw over that happens, and I think that's the reason why the gaming community, we've heard about so much bad press about the gaming industry behind the scenes that everybody just quickly jumped on the the bandwagons of trends and all that stuff. I hope my original video didn't seem like I was jumping on the trend of bad platinum. I was trying to see kind of both sides of the story, although we didn't have really, all the information there. But yeah, this, I think Bayonetta 3 is in better hands than what everybody kind of was jumping to conclusions about. I think Helena Taylor is she's upset she didn't get the role, and I think she's upset she didn't get as big a payday as she wanted for that role, and she's probably upset that all of the hard work she did put in a whole lot of hard work over the years for Bayonetta 1 and 2. She made that character. Absolutely, 100% agree with that. But roles get recast all the time, and that's just one of those things that you have to deal with. So yeah, in conclusion on this, I wouldn't feel bad about doing Bayonetta 3 coverage in the future. Am I excited to play it like day one? I think my overall calendar is a little bit too full to actually check out Bayonetta 3. There's just a lot of stuff happening and coming out around it. But if I can get hands on with it sooner or later around the launch time, then definitely I'll check it out and give thoughts on it. So yeah, situation looks better than it did before with all this the insider information, if you will. Now we have contracts that people have reviewed, and there is a stack of papers that say all the actual numbers and the contract negotiations. And it seems like a lot of people have actually, and a lot of the voiceover people are like, yeah, like Helena saying 450 million overall. She's making that number up really because the games there was Jason also went into it in one. I'm pretty sure it was Jason. Somebody went into it of like, yeah, the games. There's no way that she would have gotten a 6-figure price tag for playing the role because the games didn't sell that well, which is something I was also kind of bringing up in the first video. I'm pretty sure I brought it up in the first video. But anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Probably not going to be doing too much more in the way of this story. We'll just move on from it and check out Bayonetta 3 or check it out, or maybe I'll do a live stream of it, a little bit later on. Yeah, that's going to do it for this. So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, I will see you next time.